Someone asked me, is it hard to do YouTube when you have to see these nice trucks? Yeah, it's hard. This 2025 GMC Sierra 2500 HD AT4X AEV Bison Edition is available here at Jerry Seiner, Buick GMC. Be sure to ask for Frank. I'll put his information down below. And let's go ahead and check out the window sticker, because in this video I'm going to show you guys some of the changes, and you absolutely have to add this new option that became available for this year. Let's get into it. At the very top is the description with the colors, and then this is a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause it. And then base price is going to be $83,200. The first option is that Duramax diesel. The second one is the AEV Edition package. It's almost the same price as that diesel. Onyx Black is $495. Destination is $1995 with a total price of $104,570. A few guys on my channel had mentioned that these bumpers were going to be available in August of this year. I spoke to a guy named Nate today. He did say the rear bumper for non-AT4X AEV trucks should be available soon, and the front bumper probably end of the year or early first quarter of next year. So they're just working on all of the directions on how to install them, all that good stuff, and then from there we'll be able to add them onto our non-AEV trucks. Now on the front end, I had mentioned that the Chevy looked better, and every time I see this truck with the AEV Edition, I'm like, man, it's a toss-up again. It just looks so good on the GMC as well. You can't go wrong with either one. This truck's more expensive, so yeah, you have to think about that too. Full LED headlights on the front end, turn signals, fog lights, all of it, all projector style too. You get the bronze with the AEV, or actually with the AT4X. My truck has it too. And I like this truck with the black recovery hooks down below. It just looks so much meaner with this design. Check out the amount of ground clearance you have with that bumper. That's why I want the bumper. You get better ground clearance, and you can add that, I think it's a come-up winch is what they're going to probably add for this truck here. And when you walk a little closer, you can see that AEV badge there. You have your engine block plug with a little bug in there, and then you have your parking sensors. It just looks so good. And then down below, check out all your skid plates. Look how much it covers, so when you splash mud, it doesn't get into all the components or inside the engine bay. I like that about this design here. Active grille shutters, front camera, and of course, because this is a diesel, you have a functional hood scoop too. So here's a closer look at the suspension. You guys can see those control arms. They were redesigned along with the steer knuckle here for the 1.5 inch taller ride height. You have your Multimatic suspension right there. Now, this suspension does not use deflective disc to generate dampening. They actually use a spool valve in the secondary chamber. There's actually 3 valves on this suspension in total. And you guys can see, I never really showed this, but that's where you're gonna add a little bit of grease to your ball joint, I believe, right there. And then you guys can see those skid plates. They are stamped. And I think it's a mild stamp from what Nate was telling me too. And you guys can see those big old tires. Here's a good look at the tread pattern. And when you get the AEV Edition, they do give you a fully blacked out wheel. They have these available on the website, I believe, on AEV conversion, so be sure to reach out to Nate if you would like to buy them. These are the Goodyear Wrangler Territory MTs, 305 70 18 right there. And you don't lose tire capacity on this truck. So 3,750 pounds at 65 PSI. Fabric material for the liner. And I think when you get these bumpers, you should be able to clear 37s. You should be able to. I mean, look how much you have. I mean, that's almost full lock. And then of course on the side, pretty much all blacked out. The only negative thing about GMC trucks is they don't allow you to black out these badges from the factory, but you can do it after you buy your truck on the accessory catalog with GMC. You can see on this badge here, more of that bronze color. Power deployable running boards with the perimeter lighting, smart key system. I believe you get black door handles also with the AEV edition too. And then here is the bed. 6'10" 10" bed, so the largest standard bed. You have your steps here. You do lose them with the bumpers, however. And then 36 gallon, 7 gallon tanks. And then here's a quick look at that suspension. So you have 5 leads in the main pack, with that bottom one being a helper spring. Another liner. You guys can see full-size spare tire, more Multimatic DSSV. And look how much shorter that rear bumper is too, so you're getting more ground clearance on this truck. And as I said, because these are OEM, did I say this? These are actually OEM bumpers. They put them on at the factory. I think I might have said that. This is everything that Nate told me today. But yeah, they even cover the part of the, you know, rear hitch too, so they look perfect on this truck. And you have recovery hooks out back. And if you would like to add the lighting, they now have all the hardware for those to work too. You guys see the parking sensors there. They do black out this part of the Multi-Pro tailgate. A lot of badging. I would definitely remove some of these if this was my truck, I'm not gonna lie. And I do like the taillight design too. These are unique to AT4 and this X. But yeah, great design truck. Now this truck does not have fifth row prep package, so you guys will see the payload here in a second. This truck has a decent amount of payload because you're missing that one option. Now here, you do get the kicker sound system. They did restyle this a little bit sometime or midway through 2024 of this year, and you can get lights right there if you like. This also provides a handle to make getting inside the bed easier. Bed lights, 400 watts of power right here. 2 cameras, bed view, and one for your rear view mirror. Oh yeah, you have class 5 hitch, 2 camera inputs, and a 7-pin out back for your trailer. This also has a 342. I'll show you guys under here in a second, but I want to show you this side view here. 342 rear end. Sorry, it's a little dark under here. 14 bolt electronic locker, and then here's just a better look at your spare tire. So matching wheel still, all the good stuff. Nothing is new for the powertrain, so you still get the gas engine standard even in this truck. This engine is going to have 470 horsepower, 975 pound-feet of torque. Also 10-speed transmission known as the stamp-approved Allison, and Denso fuel pump. They got away from the TP4, I believe, for the Gen 1 L5Ps. This is a Gen 2 L5P because they did some revisions to the combustion and a turbocharger. But if you look under the hood, they essentially look the exact same as the Gen 1s. But let's go and check out the interior. This is probably the biggest selling point for the AT4X, which is the interior. If you want to save the $9,300 on the bumpers, you still get this really nice interior. The only thing you lose is just this and the floor mats having the AEV badging on it too. That's the only difference on the interior. Now for 2025, they did cheap out on this truck. Let's just go ahead and call it out. You guys see right here, my truck has leather all right in here. And I don't know why they took that away. Like, I felt like this really put them so much above Ford and Ram, because every truck has a bunch of hard plastic here. But then they just went ahead and did a shrinkflation on the door. But it's not a big deal because most people won't even notice the leather being there. I personally liked it because a lot of people said in the last video I did, oh well, that's gonna get scratched out. No, I put my dirty gloves that always have rocks in them, I just throw them in here, and when I go to clean my truck I just wipe it out and good as new. But it doesn't really matter because, as I said, you still get this beautiful interior. You have white piping and stitching, red stitching. It's just a beautiful interior, and suede on the headliner, including the A pillars, B pillars. Also, your grab handles in that rear have leather. Do they still have leather on them? They still have leather. They do still have leather there, and they have it on the front ones as well. On the door, you guys see auto up and down for the front, auto down for the rear. You have all your controls for your mirrors, for tow mode, and for power folding. Oh yeah, by the way, this has blind spot monitoring too. Bose sound system. This has the 12 speaker versus the 9 speaker, and anything outside of the AT4X and Denali Ultimate. Here's that kick plate right there. Some of your controls on the side. You have 2 drive modes, off-road and normal. Auto, full drive, which is a huge thing for the winter climates that get a lot of snow. And then your lighting's there. Heads-up display. And then stepping in is pretty easy with these power deployable running boards. Push button start. Here's some of your climate control. You can do this here or inside the screen. I like that they give it to you both ways. Some people still like it outside of it, and some people prefer to have it inside the screen because it's just that tech generation, right? I prefer hard buttons. I just do. Sometimes I turn my screen off when I'm driving down the road. So just something to consider. And if you put it in reverse, 360 camera view, you have the backup lines. If you go off-road, you have different angles that you can see too for your tires and out back. As I said, bed view camera, you can zoom in, and you can turn on the backup line if you do decide to add a fifth wheel or gooseneck package aftermarket to this truck here. This screen is customizable, so you can move things out of this side menu if you like, and you can add whatever you want in there. I actually have my cameras here, and if you don't know, this navigation will go away at some point, so unless you want to pay for it, then you'll have to I guess get the membership, which I didn't do. I'm too cheap. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am cheap. So if you want to add your audio here, you can do that. I actually have my Apple CarPlay inside of there, so my Apple CarPlay would be actually in the place of the audio there. And then if you want your trailering in there, you can just put your trailer stuff right here. And then if you want to take a look at your trailering, here it is. I've noticed that it has a little bit more of a delay now, just a little delay versus what I have. Split screen, you guys can see you have some nice information at the top there. And then on this screen, for 2025, I was hoping that they would add a gauge summary, and they did not. But not a big deal because it's still a nice truck. And who knows, maybe I will add a Banks setup on my truck so you guys can see some of the information. So I'm just gonna go through this really quickly. So here's everything that I like to see. You have your trip information, timer, tire pressure, fuel economy, driver assistance, oil life, brake pad life, air filter, fuel filter life, engine hours, transmission fluid, and that's pretty much it there. You can customize what you see in the middle of your miles per hour and your RPMs there. And you can add more information down below. Where's it at? Right here. So you can do maximum if you like. Here's the steering wheel. This truck does have adaptive cruise control. Also down below, exhaust brake, your lane keep assist alert, so it's not going to steer the steering wheel. Parking sensors, you can drop the tailgate, you cannot lift it back up, however you have to go out and do it yourself. Caution light, traction control, you can drop all the windows together. There's your locker out back, downhill assist. This truck does have an open diff on the front end, I'm not sure if I mentioned that. And something that Nate discussed with me, because I think some of you guys actually noticed, let's step outside for a second. This truck does not have a skid plate on this fuel tank, right? Your DEF tank kind of has one, and you guys can see your stamped skid plates in the center. One for the transmission. You don't have one for the regular AT4X. However, you have a smaller one here for the transfer case. I like the stamped steel better because you can wash it out a little bit better without having to remove those. But he did mention the reason why they didn't add one for the fuel tank is because it probably would have been over 100 pounds to get that skid plate, which means it would take off your payload, right? So if you do want as much payload as possible, then you wouldn't have wanted them to add a skid plate there. And he says the framing probably would come into contact before that fuel tank. Some of your storage, wireless charger, USBs, 2 more USBs right there, by the way. Storage on this side. All this is wrapped in a leatherette. And then down here, 1,968 pounds of capacity for a bed camper. Great design too. I didn't mention, but these seats are massage, and you can actually tighten the bolstering on the side also. 3 levels of, or actually I think maybe 2 levels of lumbar support, and you have a shoulder support too that you can adjust. Out back, great design. They do wrap this in leather. They don't do it on the trim levels below this and the Denali Ultimate. They never put leather back here though, just as an FYI. A little bit of storage below on this side and on the opposite side. Also, you guys can see outboard heated seats, 2 USBs, air vents, cup holders. Also, you have your storage inside of here, and you have your armrests. Lastly, you better look at that roof. Let's go ahead and check out the payload. The gross axle rating out front is going to be 5,600 pounds. The rear is going to be 6,600 pounds. Gross vehicle rating is going to be 11,350. And then the wheels are 18/9 wide. I think you can probably get a camper package on this truck. So if you want to get the winch and just have a little bit more capacity on that front axle, it would raise that to 6,000 pounds. Now, as far as the payload goes, 2,718 pounds. That does seem a little bit higher because this truck does not have fifth wheel prep package. Fifth wheel prep package will probably drop that by 150 pounds. So it will probably be in that 2,500 pound range. 18.5 conventional, 15.570 for gooseneck. And then this truck weighs almost 9,000 pounds. That is almost as much as a dually Ford Super Duty. That's how heavy this truck is. So I hope you guys like the video. I definitely do like the AEV edition. If I was patient, I was not patient at all. I actually took someone else's order. I would have just gotten this truck instead of just getting one without the bumpers, because I do like the look of it. I really do. And I also got a smaller travel trailer, so I didn't have to worry about payload. So I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. I almost forgot to discuss the new option. Now, this truck doesn't have it, but they now have the availability for auxiliary switches. So obviously if you're getting an off-road truck, especially even if it's just a regular AT4, you definitely want to add that new option. I'm not sure if it's available for AT4. I haven't done any research on that, but I did see that you could build this truck with auxiliary switches. I do know last year they were not available because when I was building my truck, I asked Frank, hey, can you add auxiliary switches if it is available, and they were not. So hope you guys liked the video. See you guys soon.